Hello everybody from Plant Reviews. Today is the 9th of April and today's video is about one of my favorite species of tulips, that is Tulipa stapfii. Actually I bought two batches of tulips, one last autumn from a miniature bulb shop, a specialist bulb shop in the UK, and I think 3 years ago I bought another batch of tulips, 10, also labeled as Tulipa stapfii, from Verberg. If I find the label, yes, it's here. So yes, from Verberg. This is a great company in Europe. Unfortunately, now it's very difficult to buy bulbs from Europe due to the restrictions in trade after Brexit. So it's very difficult to buy bulbs from Europe to the UK. However, the striking difference between the plants is actually quite impressive, and I believe actually one of the two, well, it's not Tulipa stapfii. I'm not sure if it's an hybrid or a different species, for the reasons that I will tell you in a couple of minutes. Tulipa stapfii is considered now a synonym of Tulipa systola, so really this tulip should be called Tulipa systola. However, according to some authors, stapfii is still a different form in comparison to the normal Tulipa systola, because it has wider leaves than Tulipa systola. So if this is true, the real Tulipa stapfii, or Tulipa systola forma stapfii, as it should be, is actually this plant that is a lot taller, and as you can see has very wide leaves in comparison to this other plant that has very wavy leaves and actually quite narrow. That I suppose is the true form, or Tulipa systola. So, what is for sale usually for stapfii is actually Tulipa systola. I have to really start calling this tulip as systola then. This tulip is a species that is native to Iran and Iraq, and as you can see, the leaves in stapfii are quite wide, and overall, if what my understanding is correct about these two species, the systola forma stapfii is a lot taller. This one is at least I would say 25, if not 30 centimeters tall, while this one, that I believe is the normal form of Tulipa systola, is just about 10 centimeters at the most. You can see also the difference in the leaves. They are very wavy leaves in in the form that I believe then is the true Tulipa systola. And even if the ones at the base are a lot wavier, the ones near the flower are a lot wavier. The ones at the base instead are a little bit wider than the ones at the top. They're still undulated margins, while in this other form that I believe is the systola variety stapfii, or subspecies stapfii. I'm not even sure about the classification about this tulip. You see, the leaves are a lot wider. I would say almost without any waving, not undulated at all. See the difference between these quite large leaves. You can see quite clearly the margin that are not as undulated as the ones at the top, but you can still see the wavy form, while this one instead really look just like a ribbon. This form also is characterized by leaves, the leaves becoming narrower the closer you go near the flower. However, even the narrower leaves have a very minor undulation, while you can see in this plant the undulation of the leaves is very, very evident. About the flowers, I have to say that these two bloomed at different times, so actually I'm not even sure if really this also is an indication of a genetic difference. Probably yes. I planted them obviously different times. These tulips have been actually in the same pot for already 2 or 3 years, and still you can see how beautiful the blooming is. I'm sorry that now the flowers are a little bit ruined by the fact that they have been blooming for a while, and we had quite a bad weather with lots of rain and sometimes hail in the past few days. It was a very weird start of spring. That's the reason because I didn't manage to do many videos in the past few days, but you can still see out of 10 bulbs I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 flowers. There is quite a huge number, considering that I bought only 10 bulbs 3 years ago. I believe so. Obviously the bulbs multiplied because I don't think each bulb produces more than one flower, and this is also the information I found for stapfii. Each plant produces, each bulb produces only one flower. However, the bulbs multiply by offsets, so from one bulb you can have in time 2, then 4, etc. Multiple bulbs. The nice feature of species tulips, like indeed stapfii or systola as you want to call them, is that usually they bloom year after year if you take care of them. And actually, as you can see by this spot here, they bloom year after year, even if sometimes you don't really take care much about them, but of course it's very important to keep up at least for the fertilizing, if you really don't want to take off the bulbs out of the pot and then put it back. I fertilized it every now and then. I've not been that constant in fertilizing this one, but I have to say evidently this was enough to guarantee blooming also this year, and what a blooming this is. The flowers between these two different forms of Tulipa systola are actually very similar. Like many tulips that have a cup-shaped and kind of round shape, in Tulipa systola or stapfii, as you want to call, the flower is very triangular. The tepals in this tulip actually are still quite different between sepals and petals. In the lily family, including the tulips, they have 3 sepals that are the ones, the flowers have 3 tepals that are, actually I can show you better here. You can see here these 2 ones at closer to the base, 1, 2 and 3 here. These are actually the petals, while the 3 inner ones are the petals. Now, in most tulips, the shape and the color is very similar. It's actually homogeneous. Indeed, they're called tepals in tulips, as well as in lilies, in fritillaries as well, in I think all, if not all, almost all anyway, of the lily family. However, as you can see in this tulip, the form is very triangular because the sepals are quite pointed, while the petals are more rounded, and you can see the difference in these different view. So from the top, actually, you can see that the shape is really triangular. This triangular shape is lost at the last stage of blooming, the last stages of blooming, as you can see, but still, for example, here you can see anyway this kind of triangular shape. You can see indeed that the tepals started to fade from the points of this triangle, while actually the petals are still pretty red and nice. A thing that I found very difficult in this tulip is actually to pollinate this tulip. I know that many tulips do not self-pollinate, so probably the plant I got from Verberg were all bulbs that originated from just one bulb, and sharing the same genetic background, I didn't have much chance to pollinate them, because actually pollinating different plants of different bulbs that come from the same a plant will be like self-pollinating a plant, and some plants do not allow self-pollination, and many tulips actually have this problem. I never tried with this one, the systola, this one that I suppose is actually a systola, a true systola tulip, is I never tried to pollinate it. So now I don't know if these bulbs originate actually from the same bulb that then multiplied by offsets or not. What I will do, of course, is, and actually I can do it in front of you, basically take one of the anthers. Well, you know what, I will speak first a little bit more about the flower before ruining it by pollinating it. Now, the flowers are incredibly beautiful. The color is really bright, crimson red. It's not scarlet. This is a lot deeper. This is a lot deeper red than the scarlet. Is really crimson. Is the color I would probably compare it the most, and actually I can show you the difference. The difference with this one, the scarlet is a little bit more orange, as you can see in the top of this fertilizer, and if I'm not too sure if you actually can appreciate it, but hopefully yes. When I put them close together, you can see this one is a scarlet red, so it's a kind of more on the orange tone. This one instead is very red, really crimson, almost on the way to the purple, I would say, if it's possible for a red to go towards the purple. Is a really bright crimson. What also I like a lot of this tulip is the very contrasting black center at the bottom of the flower, that really gives an incredible contrast against the crimson color of the rest of the flower. About the fragrance, it is slightly fragrant. I would say a fragrance that is quite common in many species tulip. Is a kind of sweetish, maybe with some notes of honey, but you really need to stick the nose in the tulip to smell it. This is definitely a tulip I'm not recommending for fragrance. However, really, it's the color is absolutely great. Now, about the cultivation, it's actually very easy to cultivate. This one, I believe, is hardy from USDA 4 to 8. However, it's definitely hardy between zone 6 and 8, so you can cultivate it throughout the United Kingdom anyway. Many tulips anyway are hardy down to zone 4, and possibly stapfii is also hardy down to zone 4. I will put the information in the description, of course, because many parts of Iraq and Iran in winter, especially in the rocky areas at a certain altitude, can be quite cold. This is a plant that I never found in garden centers. I always bought it online. I bought it online twice from, as I said, from two different nurseries, Verberger and Miniature Bulbs. It's not a plant, it's not a tulip really that you can find easily online, but again, you can see again the difference between these two tulips. So when you buy a stapfii that is actually a systola, according to the information I know, I really can't guarantee what you get for this tulip. You can get a tulip that is probably better in a rockery with these beautiful wavy leaves, glaucous, and with these quite big flowers in comparison to the height of the plant. Or otherwise you can have a taller plant that I believe is the Systola forma stapfii, that is about, as you can see, 30 centimeters across, sorry, 30 centimeters tall. That is great even in a normal garden in the mid border. Tulips. These tulips, like many other tulips, need to be cultivated in very well drained soil and ideally full sun. This tulip will start growing the leaves in winter, blooming in early spring, and then the leaves will continue to be green and photosynthesize, providing energy for the bulb until late spring, early summer, when the plants go dormant. If you have them in a pot like me, please don't water them, because ideally the bulb should not be watered when it's dormant, otherwise it risks to rot. If they are in a garden, if they are planted in a very well drained soil, usually the water is able to go through the top layer of the soil when the bulb is planted, where the bulb is planted, and then of course the bulb doesn't get waterlogged. Also considering they prefer full sun really in summer, especially in the United Kingdom, summers can be still quite warm, and the water in a well-drained soil that might get some moisture in the top layer of the soil still will evaporate quite quickly. This is my video about one of my favorite tulips, and actually two of my favorite tulips. I would say that these are quite different. Anyway, both species are really gorgeous. I would say if you buy stapfii, plant it first in a pot and see what kind of plant you actually get. If it's a systola, if it's a true systola, or a systola forma stapfii, maybe shorter or taller. As I said, the flowers are very, very similar. I really can't see any difference. Maybe they look a bit different now because the Systola forma stapfii, as I'm calling the plant on the right hand side, is fading. However, really, when it was in fresh bloom, it was really similar to the Systola forma systola, as I'm calling this plant. So, well, first of all, I hope to have gotten the right bulb, so a Tulipa systola in two different forms, the systola and the stapfii. However, definitely if you want to buy these plants, buy them either through Miniature Bulbs for the at least this is what I received, the short plants, or through Verberg for the taller plants. Of course, Verberg, I'm not too sure if it's still able to ship in the UK after Brexit. This you need to of course double check with the supplier. As usual, I hope that you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like this video, it would be great if you can please give a thumbs up, and of course if you like this video and the other videos on my channel, it would be great if you can please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.